I'm Amanda. I've already posted some videos about myself, my husband, and my family, and I've gotten some questions. One of those questions was, how did you meet your husband? So in this video, I'm going to answer that. I was 19 years old, a sophomore in college. I had never had a boyfriend before in my life. Well, unless you want to count the 8th grade for about a month, but I don't think that counts. Anyway, I was a sophomore in college. I was living away from home. I missed my family, my friends, everything about home. But I was happy. I had my friends on campus and we would do things together and go places. But all of my friends on campus had boyfriends who would give them flowers and candy and take them on dates. And I didn't have that. And I thought I wanted that. I wanted to find Mr. Right. So I went on some blind dates that didn't work out. And I went on some more blind dates and some regular dates, and none of those worked out. So finally I said, you know what? Fine. I'm going to stop looking for Mr. Right. I thought I would never get married, never have kids, never fall in love. I might wake up at 45 years old with 15 cats and I could be talking to my cats about the weather, and that would just be fine with me. I was ready to stop looking for Mr. Right and move on. And my life was simple at that point. I went to classes, I did my homework, and I went to my job at the dining hall. I was a line girl. I stood behind the line and served side dishes, potatoes, corn, gravy, that kind of thing. So one day, getting back to my life and not looking for Mr. Right, I went to my dinner shift. I put on my stylish hairnet and my awesome white smock, and I got to work serving my side dishes. So then, not too long after I started, about 10 guys come through the line, and they're all dressed the same way. They're all wearing white shirts and jackets and jeans and shoes. They all match each other, and I recognized them from campus. They were pledges for a fraternity. That's why they were dressed alike, and part of that was they could not speak, and I didn't know this at the time, so I smiled real big and said, "Hi, what can I get you?" And they looked at me and went, "Excuse me, I can't hear you. What can I get you?" If you're not going to talk, I'm not going to serve you. And my supervisor came up behind me and said, "Amanda, they can't talk. Leave them alone. Your line is getting long. Move them." So I gave them their potatoes, each one, and I went on with the line. So a few more people went by, and here comes this guy. He's a good-looking guy. And I smiled and said, "Hi, what can I get you?" And he looked at me and did not say a word as he pointed to all the foods he wanted. Doesn't anybody talk anymore? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What can I get you? Well, I can't serve you if you don't tell me what you want. And again, my supervisor came up behind me and said, "Amanda, you're holding up the line. Give him his potatoes and move on." So I did, and eventually I went through the whole line. My shift ended. We cleaned up the kitchen. I threw away my hairnet, took off my awesome smock, hung it up, and I was tired and sweaty. I had a paper to write, and I walked back to my dorm. When I got back to my dorm, my roommate was there, and she had a guest over in the room, and he was sitting on my bed. Well, who was this guest? It was Rude Cafeteria Boy. "Really? What are you doing in my room? On my bed?" I wanted to say, "Yo, loser, you've got to go. Off my bed, out of my room, go, go." But it came out more like, "Hi, my name's Amanda, nice to meet you." And that was that. So he stayed on my bed talking to my roommate. I basically minded my own business and started on my homework. And eventually he left. And he came back the next day, and a few days after that, he had a thing for my roommate. So he was coming by, talking to her. You know, he would call all the time looking for my roommate, stop by unannounced looking for my roommate. And she would never be around because the truth was she had 2 boyfriends. So she obviously was not interested in the guy. I really felt kind of bad for him. But I wasn't going to be the one to tell him that she already had 2 boyfriends and didn't have enough room in her schedule for number 3. I wasn't going to be the one to tell him that. But eventually he got the point and he stopped coming around. And I thought, okay, well, that's the end of a rude cafeteria boy. And it was for a while. And one day I'm walking to class, minding my own business, and I see rude cafeteria boy. And something in me was happy to see him. And out of nowhere, I find myself go, "Hey, how are you?" And he didn't recognize me. And I said, "You remember me, Amanda, you always came by visiting my roommate." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember you." So I smile, we talk. I gave him a big, deep hug. Hug? I don't hug. I'm not a hugger. Something compelled me to give this guy a huge, deep hug. It was like an out-of-body experience or something. And then, after that, I'm still out of my head. I say, "Hey, meet me for lunch." And he said, "Okay." But that's not like me. I never ask a guy, "Meet me for lunch." Isn't the girl supposed to wait for the guy to say that? But somehow I just felt compelled to see this guy again. I hadn't seen him in so long. I had all but forgotten about rude cafeteria boy. But I said, "Hi, I'm Amanda. Meet me for lunch. Hug, 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 squeeze, squeeze, squeeze." It was so not me. So he met me for lunch. And then he met me again for dinner. And then I saw him a few days later. And then we went out. And then we went dancing. And we had all kinds of serious fun. And I thought, wait a minute. I have a boyfriend. And I did. It was really what I was looking for. I was so happy. So I introduced him to all of my friends, even my best friend. And she was super friendly too. She really liked him. And I don't mean, "Hey, I think you're awesome." I mean, "Hey, baby." She started flirting with my boyfriend. Now, this was my first boyfriend. I finally had one. She had one too. She did. She had one too. She wasn't happy with him, but she had one too. She didn't need to flirt with mine, but she was. And this was my first boyfriend, and I know I have not had a boyfriend before, but I'm pretty sure I know the rules. You don't do that. You don't come here and to my dorm room or on campus. You don't live on campus anyway. What are you doing here? So you come here and you flirt with my boyfriend? You offer to drive him home? "Oh, Amanda, I'll drop you off first." Then I'll drop him off. "Yeah, I know what you're up to. You want some alone time." Anyway, we go dancing, and she makes sure she gets in the middle with him. Flirty, flirty, touchy, touchy. What? This is my boyfriend. I finally got one. Not gonna lose him now. I was getting aggravated. And then Christmas comes, and I was so excited. I bought my boyfriend the hat he'd been looking at in the store for a few weeks. And then my best friend comes by the next day. She knew I bought him the hat. She was with me when I bought it. She shows up in the same hat. She nudges him and says, "Hey, we've got matching hats. Don't we look cute?" "No, you don't look cute. You look horrible. Horrible and awful." My best friend. And then she made a scrapbook of him. She didn't have any actual pictures of him and her, so she cut some out of her and she cut some out of him and she glued them together. I thought, am I going crazy? I finally got this first boyfriend and I'm about to lose him. But guess what? I was really right. I did find Mr. Right because he pulled me aside and he said, "Hey, your best friend, she likes me. And I don't know her very well. And I know she's your best friend. But I think she could hurt our relationship. We should really not hang out with her the way we do." Really? Wow. Wow, he was really honest. He didn't take advantage of the situation or sneak behind my back or choose her over me. He said, "Hey, look, I like you. And this girl isn't any good for us. If we're in us, and we are, this girl is not any good for us." So although it was hard and it hurt, I said, "You know what? this is not working. And we all moved on with our lives and graduated and went different ways, as people always do. But not me and my boyfriend. We didn't go different ways. Instead, we got married. And I'm happy. And he's happy. And we're happy. And what's the point of this story? The point of the story is that love finds you when you're not expecting it at all. When you're standing in a stinky cafeteria wearing an ugly hairnet and an awful white smock, Mr. Right might just walk right up to you and be rude as anything. So rude. Mr. Right standing right in front of me being rude, making me angry. Definitely not love at first sight. There were no bells, there were no whistles, but there I was, and there he was, face to face. Mr. Right. So the point is, keep your eyes open, don't give up hope, and it'll happen. Love will find you. So good luck on your journey, and until next time.